Discovering Inner Peace. The Power of Silence. Long ago, nestled at the foot of a serene mountain, there stood a secluded Zen temple. Every morning, the golden rays of dawn poured over the temple grounds, illuminating the simple yet profound architecture of its halls. A path, framed by lush greenery and vibrant flowers, invited visitors to explore the inner sanctum of tranquility. Among the many disciples who resided there, one in particular stood out for his exuberant talkativeness. Bursting with stories and questions, he seemed to carry a boundless curiosity that often broke the serene silence that defined the temple. One day, filled with an eager spirit, this disciple approached his master. "Master," he said, curiosity gleaming in his eyes, "why do you choose to remain so silent? Whenever I express my thoughts, you simply listen and smile, never offering a word in return. What treasures lie hidden in your silence?" The master gazed at him, a gentle smile playing on his lips, and replied, "If you wish to truly understand the power of silence, I invite you to spend 7 days alone in the forest. Leave behind your voice, and let the sounds of nature guide your heart." Initially, the disciple thought this task would be easy. Filled with confidence and a hint of arrogance, he believed he could appreciate the beauty surrounding him without uttering a word. With this mindset, he ventured into the dense forest, beginning his 7-day journey in silence. On the first day, he strolled through the forest with a light heart, still enveloped in his self-assurance. He admired the sunlight filtering through the leaves, creating a dappled pattern on the forest floor. He listened to the gentle babble of a nearby stream and even recited silent poems to himself, thinking, "This is merely a quiet nature. What's so special about it?" However, as the days progressed, the serenity began to shift. By the third day, unease began to creep into his mind. Despite his efforts to meditate and focus on the surrounding beauty, he felt a subtle emptiness rise within him. He realized just how much he relied on words to affirm his presence in the world. The sounds of the forest grew louder in contrast to his own internal silence, making him acutely aware of the void left by his absence of speech. By the 5th day, anxiety took hold. Staring at the vastness of the forest, he felt a suffocating weight in the silence, a pressure that pressed down on him like the very branches overhead. Memories of laughter and conversations now seemed distant, and he felt as though he were lost in a boundless void of his own making. That night, as he lay under the stars, he felt overwhelmed. The silence reflected back his inner turmoil and fears, amplifying his loneliness. He could no longer bear the pressure. In a moment of desperation, he ran from his quiet spot and sat beneath a towering tree, covering his ears in a futile attempt to escape the soundlessness that enveloped him. At that moment, his master's gentle face appeared in his mind, the calm smile conveying an unspoken message. True silence isn't something to flee, it's something to embrace. On the 7th day at dawn, he returned to the heart of the forest. He sat quietly under a tree, finally letting go of his resistance. Taking deep breaths, he allowed the silence to envelop him. This time, he stopped trying to fill the void with thoughts or emotions. Instead, he simply listened to the faint whisper of the wind, the rustling of leaves, and even the steady rhythm of his own heartbeat. In that moment, he felt a profound tranquility, as if he and the world were in perfect harmony. Loneliness faded, replaced by a sense of oneness with everything around him. He understood that silence wasn't emptiness. It was a presence, a boundless force that could hold all of his thoughts, emotions, and fears without judgment. He realized, silence is not a void, but a state of being where one can coexist with inner peace. When the disciple returned to the temple, he seemed transformed. No longer quick to speak, he observed with peaceful eyes and listened with a calm heart. He had finally grasped the truth. While words express thoughts, silence carries wisdom. In silence, he discovered his true self and understood the meaning behind his master's gentle smile, a smile born from inner peace, a state of embracing all that life presented. As he re-entered the temple, the other disciples gathered around him, their faces a mix of curiosity and excitement. "What have you learned during your silence?" they asked, eager to hear his insights. The disciple took a moment to gather his thoughts, feeling the weight of their anticipation. "I have learned that silence is a powerful teacher. In my silence, I confronted my fears and insecurities, realizing how often I used words to distract myself from deeper truths. The more I sought solitude, the louder the voices within me became. I began to hear old memories and thoughts that I had long buried beneath chatter and noise. At first, they echoed with resentment, but gradually, they transformed into a profound understanding of my own nature." He paused, reflecting on the transformation he had undergone. "I learned that true silence allows us to listen, not just to the world around us, but to the whispers of our own hearts. It is in that stillness that we find clarity, understanding, and ultimately, peace." The master, who had been quietly listening, nodded in approval. "Yes, my dear disciple, you have embraced the essence of silence. As long as we speak outwardly, there will be unrest within. But once we turn inward, even if we speak outwardly, we will remain calm inside. Most of the world's misery stems from unnecessary talking. Those who truly wish to travel inward must learn to conserve the energy wasted in unnecessary words." From that day forward, the disciple learned to listen to his heart in silence. He faced the world with newfound calm, no longer needing words to seek affirmation. The power of silence became a wellspring of resilience, guiding him in moments of uncertainty and doubt. He understood that silence was not an absence, but a presence, a reservoir of strength that he could draw upon whenever he felt overwhelmed by the chaos of life. Years passed, and the disciple became a teacher in his own right. He shared the lessons he had learned about the power of silence with others, helping them navigate their own inner turmoil. His teachings emphasized that silence is not merely the absence of sound. It is a profound state of being that fosters clarity, understanding, and inner peace. One day, a young seeker approached him, filled with the same restless energy he once had. "Master," the seeker said, "I struggle with silence. It makes me uncomfortable. How can I learn to embrace it?" The disciple smiled warmly, recalling his own journey. Silence can be intimidating at first, but it is essential for discovering your true self. Begin by setting aside a few moments each day to sit in stillness. Let the thoughts come and go without judgment. Allow yourself to simply be. Over time, you will find that silence is not something to fear, but a sanctuary where you can find peace. The seeker listened intently, and as the disciple spoke, he felt a glimmer of hope. Perhaps silence could indeed be a refuge, a place where he could discover the depths of his being without the distractions of the outside world. Silence is not an empty stillness. It is a rhythm of life, a resonance between ourselves and the world around us. When we learn to keep our inner silence amidst the noise, we find the truest part of ourselves in each moment. In a world that often values noise and distraction, embracing silence becomes an act of rebellion, a declaration of our intention to connect with our innermost selves. So, dear friends, I encourage you to dedicate at least 20 minutes each day to solitude. This simple practice can bring about significant positive changes in your life. As we conclude this Zen journey, I invite you to become a vital part of our Buddhist meditation community. If this story has inspired you, please support us by hitting the like button, sharing it with your friends, and leaving a comment below with your thoughts or any Zen stories you'd love to hear next. For more moments of inspiration and tranquility, don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell. Your involvement fuels our journey together. Thank you for walking this path of wisdom and enlightenment with us.